Hi guys, I'm going to do part 6 of A Dog's Purpose, chapter 4. And my last video took a while to upload, but hey, at least I got a chance for me to do some other reading like this book. Alright, let's get going. When I got back to the yard, I was wearing the stupid cone collar again, and I sported a hard lump of something encasing my wounded foot. I wanted to tear it into the lump with my teeth. But not only did the collar not look ridiculous, it also prevented me from getting at my foot. I could only walk on 3 legs, which Spike seemed to find amusing because he came over to me and knocked me down with his chest. Fine, Spike, go ahead. You are the ugliest dog I ever seen. My leg hurt all the time and I needed to sleep, and usually Coco came over and rested her head on me as I did so. Twice a day Bobby came in and gave me a treat. I pretended not to notice that there was something bitter inside the roll of meat. Though sometimes, instead of swallowing it, I waited a bit and then spat it out, a small white thing the size of a pea. I was still wearing the stupid collar the day all the men came. We heard several dogs slamming in the driveway, so we took up our usual chores of barking, though many of us went quiet when we heard Cinderella shriek, No, you can't take my dogs!" The grief in her voice was unmistakable, and Coco and I nuzzled each other in alarm. What was going on? The gate swung open, and several men cautiously entered the yard, carrying the familiar poles with them. Several held metal casters out in front of them and were braced as if expecting an attack. Well, whatever this game was, most of us were willing to play. Coco was one of the first to approach, and she was snagged and pulled without resisting out through the gate. Most of the rest of the pack followed, lining up willingly, though several hung back. Sister, Fast, Spike, Top Dog, and myself, because I just didn't feel like limping over to them. If they wanted to play, and let them play with Spike. Sister broke into a run around the perimeter of the yard, as if expecting a hole to open. Fast went with her at first and then stopped in despair, watching her panic, pointless fight. 2 men closed in on her and captured her with a rope. Fast let them take him right away so that he got go with Sister, and Top Dog stepped forward and denied dignity when they called to him. Spike, though, fought the loop, rolling savagely and snapping at them. The men yelled, and one of them directed a thin stream of liquid from his canister at Spike's face. The scent instinctively burning my nose from all the way across the yard. Spike stopped fighting and fell to the ground, his paw over his snout. They dragged him out and then came to me. Nice doggy. You hurt your leg, boy? One of the men asked. I gave my tail a feeble wag and ducked my head a little to make it easier for him to slip the loop over my head, which took a bit of doing because of my stupid plastic collar. Once outside the fence, I was upset to see Cinderella crying, struggling against Charles and Bobby. Her sadness came off of her and lashed into me, and I pulled against the nose, wanting to go comfort her. One of the men tried to hand Cinderella paper, but she threw it on the ground. Why do you do this? We're not hurting anyone, Bobby shouted. His anger was clear and fine. Too many animals, poor conditions, the man with the paper said. He too radiated anger, and everyone was very tense and stiff. I noticed that his clothes were dark and that he had metal flashing on his chest. I love my dogs, Cinderella wailed. Please don't take them from me. Cinderella was not angry. She was sad and afraid. Inhuman, the man replied. I was stifled. Seeing the entire pack outside the yard, led one by one to cages on the trucks, was very disorientating. Most of us had our ears back and our tails submissively low. I was next to Roddy, whose deep, heavy roofing filled the air. My corporation did not approve when he arrived at our situation, which smelled a little like the place with a nice lady in the cool room, but was hot and filled with loud, anxious dogs. I followed willingly and was somewhat disappointed to find myself shoved in the cage with Fast and Top Dog. I would have preferred Coco or even Sister, though my fellow males were as cold as I was and regarded me without hostility. The barking was defeating, yet above it all I heard the unmistakable snarl of Spike in full attack, followed by a sharp squeal of pain from some unfortunate canine. Men yelled, and then a few minutes later Spike was led past us at the end of a pole, disappearing down a hallway. A man stopped in front of our cage. "What happened here?" he asked. The other man, the other one who had just led Spike away, stopped and regarded me without interest. "Don't know." From the first man I sensed a killing tinge with sadness, but from the second man there was nothing but distrust. The first man opened the door and gently prodded my leg, pushing Fast past away. "This is ruined," he said. I tried to communicate to him that I was a much better dog without the stupid collar on. "Unadoptable," the first man said. "We got too many dogs," the second man said. The first man reached inside the cone and smoothed my ears back. Though I felt disloyal to Snow, I licked his hand. He mostly just smelled of other dogs. "Okay," the first man said. The second man reached in and helped me jump to the ground. He slipped the loop of my robe around me and led me back to a tiny hot room. Spike was there in a cage, while two other dogs I never paced loose outside Spike's cage, giving it to a wide berth. "Here, wait." The first man was at the door. He reached down and unsnapped the collar, and the air that rushed at my face was like a kiss. "They hate those things." "Whatever," the second man said. They shut the door behind them. One of the new dogs was an old female who sniffed my nose without much interest. Spike was barking, making the other dog, a younger male, nervous. With a groan, I slid down to lie on the floor. A loud hiss filled my ears, and the young male began to whine. Suddenly, Spike topped to the floor with a crash, his tongue sliding out of his mouth. I regarded him curiously, wondering what he was up to. The old female slumped nearby, her head coming to rest against Spike's cage in a manner I was astounded he would allow. The young male whined, and I regarded him blankly, then shut my eyes. I felt overwhelmed with a fatigue as heavy and oppressive as when I was a small puppy, and my brothers and sister would lie on top of me, crushing me. That's what I was thinking about as I began to sink into a dark, silent sleep, being a puppy. Then I thought of Running Wild and Mother, and of Sonora's carelessness and Coco in the yard. Unbid, the sadness I felt from Sonora washed through me, and I wanted to squirm up to her and lick her palms and make her happy again. Of all the things I never done, making Sonora laugh seemed the most important. It was, I reflected, the only thing that gave me my life any purpose. 5. At once, everything was both strange and familiar. I could clearly remember the loud, hot room, Spike filling the air with his fury, then a bird falling into a slumber so deep it was as if he opened a gate with his mouth and run away. I remember becoming sleepy, and then there was the sense that much time had passed, the way a nap in the afternoon. Sun will span the day, and suddenly it will be time for the evening feed. This nap, though, brought me not to just a new time, but to a new place. Familiar was the warm, squirming presence of puppies on either side of me. Familiar, too, was the shoving clamor for a turn at the teat and the rich life-giving milk that was the reward for all the pushing and climbing. Somehow I was a puppy again, helpless and weak back in the den. But when I took my first look at the face of my mother, she wasn't the same dog at all. Her fur was a light color, and she was larger than mother. My brothers and sisters, 7 of them, shared the same light colored fur, and when I examined my forelegs, I realized that I matched the rest of the litter as well. And not only were my legs no longer dark brown, they stretched out from me in perfect proportion at the rest of my body also. I heard a lot of barking and smelled many dogs nearby, but this was in the yard. When I ventured from the den, this surface beneath my pads were rough and hard, and a wire fence abruptly ended my exploration after half a dozen yards. It was a cage with a wire top and cement floor. The implications of all this made me weary, and I stumbled back to the den, climbing up on top of a pile of siblings, and collapsed. I was still a puppy again, barely able to walk. I had a new family, a new mother, and a new home. Our fur was uniformly blonde, our eyes dark. My mother's milk was far richer than what had come from my first mother. We lived with a man who came by with food for my mother when she gulped down quickly before returning to the den to keep us warm. But what about the yard and snare and fastened cocoa? I could remember my life very clearly, yet everything was different now, as if I had started over. Was that possible? I recalled Spike's outrage barking and how I fell asleep in that hot room. I realized within its instinctual question a question of purpose. This didn't seem like the sort of thing a dog should think about, but I found myself returning to the issue often, usually as I was just dozing off for an incredible irresistible nap. Why was I a puppy again? Why did I harbor a nagging feeling that as a dog there was something I was supposed to do? Our enclosure didn't offer much to look at, and there was nothing much fun to chew on except each other. But as my brothers and sisters and I became more aware, we discovered that there were more puppies in a kennel at the right, tiny, angelic little guys with dark markings and hair that stuck up all over the place. On the other side was the low-moving female, all alone with a hanging belly and drenched tense. She was white with black spots, and her coat was very short. She didn't walk around much and seemed pretty uninterested in us. About a foot of space spared the two near, so all we could do was smell the little puppies next to us, though they looked like they'd be fun to play with. Straight ahead was a long strip of lawn that beckoned with sweet borders of moist earth and rich green grass, but we were prevented from going out there by the lot door to the cage. A wooden fence encircled both the grassy area and the dog cages. The man wasn't anything like Bobby or Carlos. When he ventured into the kennel area to feed the dogs, he didn't speak much to any of us, but weighing a banal indifference so at odds with the kindness of the man tending the dogs in the yard. When the puppies in the kennel next to us rushed over to greet him, he pushed them away from the dinner bowl with a grunt, letting the mother have access to her food. We were less coordinated in our attack than usual, and usually didn't manage to tumble our way to the cage door before he'd already moved on, and our mother let us know we were not to share her meal. Sometimes the man would be talking when he moved from cage to cage, but not to us. He spoke softly, focused on a piece of paper in his hands.